Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Sword of the Sea. You've seen hoverboards, but have you seen hover swords? Sword of the Sea is a game from developer Giant Squid. They are previously known for an artistic approach to games through their other two games, Abzu and The Pathless. So can we expect another artistic rendition with this one? Let's start to go over the gameplay and find out. The gameplay of Sword of the Sea is all about traversal and exploration. Your hover sword is your way to get across the boundless sea of sand as you explore the world. What is your objective? The game is not very in-your-face about telling you what to do with words. Instead, it shows you. Your goal is to traverse the sands and find places to interact with in order to bring back the sea and all its life to the lifeless desert. Doing this usually requires some sort of puzzle and opens up more pathways to more puzzles. It's very akin to the gameplay loop of older 3D platformers. The twist being that you're doing all of this while on your hover sword and being stylish while you're at it. But where does the story fit into this? As I had mentioned, we're bringing back the ocean. You play as the Wraith, who has been resurrected to fulfill his goal of bringing back the ocean to the seemingly endless sands. The story is told without words and only through visuals and context, but this makes every environment and cutscene captivating in its own way. That being said, is there more to this than there first appears to be? But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? All right, we gotta bring the concept of hover swords into more things because, I mean, regardless of how you feel about the game, is that not a really cool concept? Just have a sword that you can ride on?
Yeah, I'm with you, Henrik. I mean, first you're shredding dunes and then you're carving waves. I mean, Sword of the Sea takes gamers on an aquatic adventure, but more sand in your shoes, I would say. I mean, 1 minute you're reviving ecosystems, the next you're riding dolphins to sharks like you're Aquaman, competing in the X Games. I mean, I think more games should explore what this studio has brought to life with Sword of the Sea.
Yes, and the studio is known for this kind of game where it's like really aesthetic, like colorful, punchy colors, and really visually tells the story more than anything else. But at the same time, is the game only just aesthetic more than substance, or is it actually got some gameplay to it? What do you think, Chris?
Well, yeah, I felt like when I was playing this game, you definitely want to immerse yourself in a dark setting, in your living room, turn all the lights off. The music composition in this video game is fantastic. It really kind of immerses you with the flow of
actually,
the surfing sand.
On the music, sorry to cut you off, the speed and the music actually reminded me, and this is a compliment, a little bit of like the Nier Automata music, which is great. I mean, that it's like that abstract, almost like speaking different foreign ancient languages sort of aesthetic, or rather listening experience in the for the music, and I love that. It fits the tone of the game entirely.
Yeah, especially with the atmosphere. I mean, as you explore these, different regions of the sea, I suppose. I mean, you're playing as Wraith, who is surfing sand, but then eventually, the dunes, turn into water, and then suddenly you're riding an emerald oceans like Poseidon would. And I think that's like what's really, really cool. I think I can only view as Poseidon riding a hover sword moving forward. I mean, you're going to be building momentum, you're going to launch off waves, and then eventually you'll unlock the real ocean beneath the desert. But I mean, this was something that I kept thinking about you, Henrik, knowing that you are a PC gamer, and like I felt like using the hoverboard felt very, very smooth when you're playing on a PS5 controller, which I highly recommend is the best way to experience Sword of the Sea because of the haptic feedback instead of smacking your keys or your fingers on the keyboard, right? I mean, although I
was using a controller, but
but you don't got
the controller doesn't have the haptics.
You do not have that experience, right? And so, like, I feel like though. That's where I feel like the next part kind of kicks in. I feel like the gameplay for myself, because I've been really excited for this game for quite some time since the debut trailer, was a bit underwhelming. And it pains me to say that because the pacing leans more towards like a vibe out than an arcade challenge. But, pulling off those like big air over shifting dunes is still ridiculous. ridiculously satisfying as much as it didn't fulfill my expectations. Because, like, let's put it this way. I mean, especially when you start, looking at, the trophy collection, on the PS5, and then they're like, hey, why don't you do the challenge where you can get like 20 combos? Dude, all you have to do is just jump on a jellyfish and start moving your controller like, hold it L1, triangle, circle, square. Oh, jump onto another jellyfish to reset it. But it's like, I felt like they didn't focus enough on the tricks, which is what I really felt like this game was going to be all about, not just kind of surfing around and doing, like, I don't know. It felt very toddler-esque style of gameplay, which
no, I'm right there with you. I did feel like the trick system was a little gimmicky. I mean, yeah, there's the moments where you go and do the challenges where you have to hit a high score. They never were really that challenging, though.
Super
I always
easy.
felt like I got the high
easy.
score broken in the first like 20 seconds of the 1 minute they gave me.
Yeah.
So it was never really like, oh, okay, the tricks actually matter. It was more of like the tricks are just there to have something to do while you're traveling to the next
Well, they
puzzle.
wanted to create like this like store system, and they're like, sweet, you collected enough like golden shards, and now you can go talk to the fat guy and he'll give you more tricks. And it's like, that guy you can tell never rode on a hover sword, so why do I have to pay him to tell me how to do a flip when I already know how to go flying in the air? It's just like those kind of things are a little gimmicky. I mean, I get it's all about the speed, the flips, and the flow, and you're gonna be riding ramps, wall ride ruins, and launch flips off of massive sand waves that get resurrected to restore the lost sea and uncover some of the ancient culture. But then all this might sound epic to you, and don't be fooled by the the visionary artistic flow with this game, because like the story, I gotta say, Henrik, it just pains me because it just felt like I was reading a hooked on phonics lesson for pre-K students. I mean, it was so simple, so direct, and sometimes just so plain goofy. Like, I felt like they were trying to teach me the difference between water and fire. And I'm like, how many times have we heard this story? Pokemon, Avatar. It's like, come on, like, put at least some kind of, I don't know, leave me a cliffhanger, something. I mean, I didn't care a less every time I read a ruin. And I know you always make that joke when it comes to like the style of Skyrim games, for example. Like, I never want to read a book. Well, you kind of feel like you want that in Sword of the Sea, and it's just, it totally misses. And then I didn't understand the whole taking off the face. I'm just going there. I'm sorry, guys. It's under 3-hour game. You guys will be able to beat it. I mean, that was another thing too, Henrik, that surprised me. I was so shocked when I beat the game in 2 hours. And then I was like, why is there a trophy achievement to beat the game under 3 hours? And then I'm like, oh, they designed it to be a game under 3 hours. I was like, no. Like that, it was a total buzzkill. I was actually completely upset.
Like I was saying, the game, it unfortunately feels like it is more aesthetic than it is actual substance.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the aesthetic is great. It's really captivating visually, but then that's all it is. That's kind of where it ends. Like you get these great landscapes to go look at, and these moments that are pretty cool, like grinding on chains, but at the end of the day, you don't really end up feel like you're doing anything.
Yeah, and a lot of these challenges were, to me, I just felt like it lacked so much. Like, it could have gone way further. I mean, why do
I was actually thinking while playing it, because like I was saying with the tricks also, I felt it was gimmicky. I felt it didn't have enough focus on it.
Henrik,
I was almost feeling like they could have done a Tony Hawk style thing for the
very much for SSX,
where it's open world rather than missions. But it's like, hey, in order to unlock this door, you got to do such and such trick to get this area unlocked, and then there you go. There's so much more that they could have done with it.
Instead of being like, why don't you circle around all these lanterns and turn the flame on? Or like, hey, why don't you get this water goop and go float over there towards the tortoise that's in the sea and give him and feed him with his mouth open, and then the door will open. It was like, it's cool. You get to ride a shark to a dolphin and all that kind of fun thing. But I don't know. Yeah, Sword of the Sea is beautiful, but very shallow. I mean, short enough to platinum before dinner and not nearly as exciting as the setup. And yeah, it might be worth checking out for the visuals, like you were saying, Henrik. But for the gameplay wise, like for myself personally, like this ride doesn't quite stick the landing. So, Sword of the Sea is a pause. I'm curious on what your verdict is.
Yeah, it's a pause for me as well. It's one of those games I feel is going to be praised for the visuals, but when it comes to whether I would recommend buying this, well, if you get it in a humble choice, or if it's in like a deal where it's a few dollars, absolutely pick it up because it's never going to feel and look the same as it does in a video. It's going to always look better when you actually play it, but don't go out there and spend your money on it expecting a full great experience because you're not going
Yeah,
to get that.
see, I feel like you're being a lot nicer about it. I'm like, to me, I'm like, no, I was totally disappointed. I'll just be quite frank. I'm totally disappointed. I felt like they were going to do so much more. I was shocked when like I opened up the PS5 like main menu because I wanted to see where I was progressing. Like when I finally learned my first trick move, and it said I was 62% way through the game. I was like, 62% of the way through, and I finally learned my first trick move. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. But then again, we want to know from you, the gamers, is Sword of the Sea a pause to play something new or a repeat for endless fun?